everyone. Welcome to this week's edition of the Grain Gauntlet. I've got Hedge Plus owner Patrick Hayes here with me. This week we've got, seems like some of the focus with our guys is shifting to corn. We do still have the wait and see game going on with soybeans in China. But if you're ready, Patrick, we'll get started.
I'm here and I'm ready.
All right, sounds good. Question number one. Have corn prices ever moved lower than current price levels without it ever at least having some rally along the way?
Oh yeah, lots of times. But those are always starting from really high prices. So like in 12, we had a drought, right? So prices rallied to really high levels in February. And then we came down because the 13 crop was okay. So in years where we've had tremendously high prices, it's the next year after is typically a decline the whole year. But in years where we don't have high prices, we have really stingy prices, and in February we're really pretty close to lows, we usually at least get some kind of bounce, some kind of higher price. It would be very difficult for the market to go from what was pretty close to harvest low, March corn at 410, down below 410 between now and then. Although, if you guys plant a ton of acres in corn again this year, and it could happen, it's just a rarity. I don't expect that to be the case because we're going to chaw through this stuff. We're going to keep having fantastic demand because prices are so cheap. And that's what usually leads to something that will rally us. Now, we'll see, but something should rally us, at least off this level.
Okay. All right. This next question says, do I start hedging or selling new crop corn, or should I give it some more time?
I like hedging, but right now with today's price move, today's not the day to do it. I like to hedge when we have an up move because I use options, and options can give us significantly better prices on a 10-cent move higher. I don't think we're going to stay at this level, so I'm targeting right now a little bit higher before I get aggressively hedged. Hedging is a really smart thing to do in this year, but at this price level, I'm hesitant.
Yeah, it just seems like corn has been stuck very tight range for quite a while, and just need, I guess, to have a little bit more patience yet.
Yeah, we have some issues out there. We'll see if they come to fruition. Pour a little gas on the fire so we can get a bounce.
All right, sounds good. What's the lowest you think corn can go between now and spring?
0. It can go to 0. No, it can't. Crude did actually went below 0. So that was a rarity. Between now and spring, between now and planting season, or March 21st, what would you say?
I'd say probably between now and planting.
Okay. We could go down to $4. If we have all negative news and exports start to fall off, and China and Trump don't like each other anymore, and there's some cancellations of shipments, and there is a downturn in world economies, all that stuff could lead to $4 corn. Is it likely? Is it probable? Hell no. But anything can happen in the grain markets. We got to remember that. So $4 is possible.
Okay. All right. This one's about soybeans. It says, how long can we go without some confirmation China will be buying all these more additional soybeans before the latest rally is given right back?
As long as they're buying right now and we get fresh orders all the time, we don't have to worry about that. But we do have to be very, very, very cautious because China is buying from us when Brazil is so much cheaper. And the longer time goes on, the more bushels will be moved to port in Brazil. Okay. So the bottom line is it's huge risk. That's why we made some sales last week. We're 90% sold in old crop, and we got our first 25% new crop. We get another leg up. I'm selling another 25% new crop. So, you got to be very cautious with this because Brazil is so much cheaper, and all China has to do is get upset with Trump, and we could fall apart.
Right.
Very risky.
We're one of the companies that is definitely showing belief both last year and now that these sales will happen, but that doesn't mean to not protect what we've got now.
Right, exactly.
All right, good. Last question this week. This one's from a prospect. Says, what's out there that can drive corn higher and give me a chance to sell?
Very wet Mato Grosso in Brazil area that they don't get in to get the bean crop out, and they have slow pace of planting the safina crop. That could be something that spikes us higher. Early weather concerns here in the U.S., although the pattern looks really good right now with El Nino coming. It would have to be something in weather, I think, that would have to drive this market, either with the safina crop or with the U.S. crop. Otherwise, we got 2.1 billion bushels. Demand is great, but even if we add another 300 million bushels of demand, you're still at 1.8. That's more than enough bushels left over at the end of this year. So it's going to take some kind of production fear to get this thing going. The quickest that could happen is issues with getting the safina crop planted. You got to remember, they have a very limited growing season down there. And if they don't get the safina crop in early, they get into the end of the monsoon, they don't get any rain to finish that crop. That is more devastating than dry spells here, because once that rain turns off, it's off, right? And so they need to get the safina crop planted. That could help.
Okay, good. All right, well, that is it for this week. We've got the USA Economic Outlook Forum on Thursday. Any thoughts about that, what that usually brings? Any thoughts about what that usually brings?
Yeah, it usually brings a little bit of momentum up or down, but I don't, the last couple of years, it really hasn't done much because it's a 10-year average type thing. I think the market will try to get a hint at how many acres the USDA is looking at corn being planted this year when they come out with that acres report on the 31st of March. That always a little bit of indication there. But really, this is kind of silly to have a big mover with this report. So I don't expect a whole lot. I expect them to have a pretty significant number of planted corn acres, and maybe that's why we're down today, is that the market's expecting the same thing. And so the surprise would be a great reduction in corn acres. I just don't see that happening.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you, Patrick. And thank you, everyone, for the questions this week. If you'd like to have your question answered, go ahead and email it to adminstaff@hedge-plus.com. Aside from that, I hope everyone is doing well, and we will see you again next week.
Thanks a lot, Josh. Have a good week, everyone.